Hey, let's dive into something exciting about the Dallas Cowboys defense. You might have heard the name Darren Bland. He's the young cornerback who's been turning some heads recently. Pro Football Focus just released their cornerback rankings for the 2025 season, and Bland's placement caught a lot of people by surprise. If you've been following the Cowboys, you know how important it is to have strong players in the secondary, especially with all the passing we see in today's NFL. Now, if you're not familiar, Pro Football Focus, or PFF, breaks down player performances in a detailed way. They watch every snap and assign grades based on coverage, tackling, and overall impact on the game. So when Bland shows up on their radar, it means he's doing more than just holding his own. He's making a real difference on the field. For the Cowboys, developing young talent like Bland is crucial. After some shaky defensive performances in the past seasons, seeing a young cornerback improve and earn recognition feels like a step in the right direction. It's a sign that the team's secondary could become a real strength moving forward. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you been paying attention to Bland this offseason? What are your expectations for him in 2025? Drop your thoughts down below in the comments. I always love hearing what fellow Cowboys fans think, especially when it comes to young players stepping up. And before we go further, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do that now and hit the notification bell. We're here to bring you all the latest Cowboys news, and you don't want to miss what's coming up next. All right, now that we've set the stage, let's break down the numbers and see exactly what PFF saw in Bland's game that earned him such a solid ranking this year. Stay tuned. All right, now let's get into the details of what Pro Football Focus saw in Darren Bland's performance that helped him land his spot in the 2025 cornerback rankings. PFF doesn't just look at big plays. They break down every aspect of a player's game, from coverage skills to tackling and even pass rush pressures when corners get involved. One of the biggest factors for Bland was his coverage grade. According to PFF, Bland showed solid improvement in man coverage, which is huge because the Cowboys often rely on their corners to lock down some of the league's best receivers one-on-one. He wasn't just giving up receptions, he was making quarterbacks think twice before targeting his side. That's a big step forward from last season. But it's not just about coverage. Tackling is another area where Bland's growth stood out. PFF grades players on how reliable they are in stopping opponents after catches or runs. Bland's tackling numbers improved, showing he's becoming more physical and dependable in run support and open field situations. For a young corner, that's a valuable skill that adds a new layer to his game. Also, Bland got some credit for contributing to pass rush when asked. Even though cornerbacks aren't primarily known for sacking quarterbacks, any pressure they can add is a bonus. Bland showed flashes of that, helping the defense get more pressure and disrupt plays. When you compare Bland to other Cowboys defensive backs and even corners across the NFC East, his numbers stack up pretty well. He's moving from a developmental player to someone who can be counted on regularly in key defensive moments. That's exactly the kind of progress the Cowboys need as they try to build a stronger defense. Now here's a quick poll for you. Do you think Bland's stats really back up the hype around him this year? Vote yes or no in the comments, and tell me which part of his game you think has improved the most. Is it his coverage, tackling, or maybe his ability to pressure the quarterback? And if you're liking this breakdown, make sure to hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow and keeps us motivated to bring you even more in-depth Cowboys coverage. Coming up next, we'll talk about how Bland fits into the Cowboys' overall defensive strategy and what his rise means for the team's secondary. Stay with me. So now that we've looked at Darren Bland's numbers and improvements, let's talk about what his rise means for the Dallas Cowboys' defensive strategy this season. The Cowboys have been working hard to rebuild their defense, especially in the secondary, which faced a lot of challenges last year. Bland's progress fits right into that plan. Bland isn't just any cornerback. He's becoming a key piece in the Cowboys' defensive puzzle. The coaching staff values his ability to handle one-on-one matchups, which lets the team be more aggressive with their coverage schemes. That means they can mix in different looks, blitz more often, and confuse opposing quarterbacks. When you have a corner like Bland who can hold his ground, the defense becomes tougher to beat. Another important factor is how Bland's style complements the rest of the secondary. The Cowboys have Trevon Diggs, a high-profile corner known for his ball-hawking skills, but he's also a bit aggressive and takes risks. Bland brings a more steady, reliable presence on the opposite side. That balance allows the defense to cover more ground without leaving big openings. Coaching also plays a role here. The Cowboys' defensive staff has emphasized player development, and Bland's rise shows they're making progress. They've given him specific roles to maximize his strengths, like shadowing top receivers or supporting in run defense. Expect those roles to expand as Bland gains experience. Now here's a question for you. Do you think Darren Bland has what it takes to become the Cowboys' #1 cornerback this season? Let me know with a simple yes or no in the comments, and feel free to explain why. I want to hear what you think about his potential and how he fits in the bigger picture. And hey, if you're excited about the Cowboys' defense shaping up this year, smash that like button. It really helps the channel grow, and we've got more great Cowboys content coming your way. Up next, we're going to compare Bland's ranking with some of the other top defensive players on the Cowboys roster, including big names like Micah Parsons and Trevon Diggs. You won't want to miss that, so stick around. All right, now let's take a closer look at how Darren Bland's ranking compares to some of the other top defensive players on the Dallas Cowboys roster. When you think of the Cowboys' defense, names like Micah Parsons and Trevon Diggs usually come to mind first, and for good reason. They're established stars who've made big impacts. But Bland's emergence shows the Cowboys are starting to build depth, which is just as important. Micah Parsons has been a force at linebacker, disrupting offenses and making plays all over the field. Trevon Diggs, on the other hand, is known for his ability to create turnovers with interceptions and aggressive coverage. Bland, while younger and less experienced, is carving out his own niche by steadily improving his coverage and tackling. PFF's rankings show Bland sitting in a solid spot among these defensive standouts. He might not yet have the spotlight that Parsons or Diggs commands, but his trajectory is upward. That's a good sign because it means the Cowboys aren't just relying on their stars, they're developing a supporting cast that can step up when needed. This kind of depth is crucial, especially in the NFL, where injuries and matchups can change the game quickly. Having a corner like Bland who can be trusted in key situations gives the defense more flexibility. It allows coaches to rotate players, adjust game plans, and keep fresh legs on the field. So here's something for you to think about. How important do you think it is for the Cowboys to develop players like Bland to support their defensive stars? Is depth just as important as star power? I'd love to hear your take. Drop a comment below and let me know what you think. And if you're finding this breakdown helpful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss any Cowboys news. We're building this community strong, and your support means everything. Coming up next, we'll wrap things up by looking at what this all means for the future of the Cowboys defense and how Bland's growth fits into the bigger picture moving forward. Stay tuned. So, looking ahead, what does Darren Bland's rise mean for the future of the Dallas Cowboys defense? It's clear that the team is focusing on developing young talent in the secondary, and Bland is a prime example of that effort paying off. With his steady improvement in coverage, tackling, and occasional pass rush contributions, he's shaping up to be a reliable piece in the Cowboys' defensive puzzle. The Cowboys know that building a championship-level defense takes more than just a few stars. It requires depth, consistency, and players who can grow into bigger roles each year. Bland's progress fits perfectly into this vision. He's not just a project anymore. He's a cornerback who can be counted on in critical moments and who brings stability to the secondary. For you as a fan, this should be exciting news. Watching young players like Bland develop means the Cowboys could be setting themselves up for a stronger defensive unit in the coming seasons. It's also a reminder that good scouting and coaching can uncover and nurture talent that might have flown under the radar before. Now, I want to leave you with a question. How high do you think Darren Bland can rise in the Cowboys' defense? Could he become one of the best corners in the league? Let me know what you think in the comments. Your thoughts help shape this community and keep these conversations going. And before we finish, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. We're aiming for 14,000 subscribers, and your support gets us closer every day. Also, don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed the breakdown. It really helps the channel grow and keeps us bringing you the latest Cowboys news and insights. Thanks for sticking with me through this deep dive on Darren Bland. Stay tuned for more updates as the Cowboys prepare for what should be an exciting 2025 season.